Good evening, guys. We will start in 2-3 minutes.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. Does any of you have email? I'll just put it in this chat here. Any of your somebody's email I need here. I need to send some questions. But the promise is that you are going to send to rest of them. That is the only. So I will send it to Venkatesh sir and Wasim, but you guys will be able to send these whatever information I'm sending you to rest of the people, right? Say yes or no, yaar. One sec. I will. Are you? Can you not? Okay, one sec. Here is. Yes. So others can give the. What is this nonsense? Yeah. I will send it to Priyanka, and then Priyanka can send it to everybody. And one. Array are not so many emails. Just one is enough. Okay, one sec. Where is my email? Yeah, I think what you guys can do is probably share your email to Priyanka or Venkatesh sir, anybody. Then I can. Or wait, I have a better idea. One sec. Where is the? I'll wait for a few more minutes. Let others join. Where did this? Okay, one sec here. Oh, okay. So you guys are able to see 10 questions which I have sent in this chat. Those are sprint planning questions. Then I have to send the next one. Okay. Answers we'll discuss here. Next one is also there. Then next one I will. One event is missing. I will give that also. I have to find one. Okay. One event is missing, which I will give. Okay. These are basic questions that we should know. It covers a lot of information. Okay. Okay, can I start and people can come on camera if they can? That will be super nice. Okay. I'll start it now. Okay. Anybody? Okay, most of these. Okay, let us start today. So we are going to start with. So let us say we have to build a product. Let us give. So let us say you have to build a food delivery app. Okay. Now what I'm trying to tell you now is how as a Scrum Master you are going to. What are the basic concepts? So let us say you have to build a product. So let us say this product is. Yeah, serial number 11 to 20 are missing. Yeah, I'll send. So let us say, and by the way, you guys had a homework also. You guys remember that, right?
Yes. What
Which
is the
was,
most important meeting of a Scrum?
which is the most important, which you guys will tell me in due course. I'll come to you guys. Okay, so now we have to start a new product. Okay, let us say we have to build a new product. We've got funding. And this product is a rival app to Swiggy. It's a food delivery app. Okay. So every product has certain features, correct? Features are basically capabilities. For example, PlayStation. PlayStation allows you to play video games. That's its first capability or its first feature. It allows you to stream Netflix, Amazon, some video streaming applications also. That is another capability of the system. So any product, it does something for the customer. It has certain capabilities. Those capabilities are called its features. That is fine, right? So every product will have its capabilities or features. Isn't it? Yes or no? You can disagree with me. So every product will
Yes,
have,
yes, sir.
correct? Every product will
Yeah.
have its features. So who will decide uh, which features a particular product will have? So now you have to build a product. So now you are given a new team. You are in a company, nobody knows agile, nobody knows anything, and you have to develop a new product. And now you understood the scenario, right? Now you have a product to be built. Somebody has to decide which features we are going to build, correct? What is the order of the feature that we are going to build? Which feature is more important than rest of the things, which is less important, and like that? Who will decide that?
Client and product owner will decide that one.
So product owner, the guy which decides what is it that the team is going to build. What is Sudipta saying?
I replied like 11 to
Uh,
20 questions,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
where are the questions? I was not finding it in the mail.
Yeah, yeah, I'll give that. So what are we discussing? Yesterday, we spoke about what is agile, but we did not dwell it. We did not deal with it in detail. So we are going to deal with it. So now we have to build a product. Who is the guy who decides what is going to be built? Product owner. In practical terms, I am a senior developer. I know what to do. I will create a task on my own and start doing it. Can I do that in a team?
No.
It is the product owner who decide what will the team do. Is this very clear to all of you? This is a very basic concept and most of the people do not know and they struggle. Product owner is the one who decides what is to be done. And he is the owner of something. That something is called product backlog. What the hell is product backlog? So now we have to build this new product, food delivery app. Whatever we have to do in this to build whatever we want to build, so there will be a lot of things we have to do. So all the things that we need to do to build a particular product, everything, entirety of everything is called your product backlog. In practical terms, what does that mean? You will create a project in Jira. You will be a scrum master of some team. All the tickets, whether it is bug, task, subtask, stories, whatever, we'll come to that. What are those? But all the tickets in Jira, product backlog. In practical terms, your product backlog is all your tickets in Jira. Everything is your product backlog. What is product backlog? Product backlog is all the things that we will do to build a particular product. That is your product backlog. Who is going to own it?
Product owner won't.
Is this very clear to us? There is somebody called product owner who owns the product backlog. He decides what are we going to build in that product. Of course, people can give suggestions. There are a lot of people who will give suggestions. But ultimately, it is the product owner who decides what we will do. He has the vision of the product. So now we'll get to more details. So let us say we have to build this application. Okay. Now, how do we go about it? Agile is incremental and iterative. What does it mean in practical terms? What does that mean? What is iterative and incremental? Iterative and incremental means we will iteration and incremental means incremental we will build feature by feature. So let us say there are, so let me say there are, let us say there are 5 or 6 features we have to build. What is the first feature? Login functionality. Without login, can we work on any application, any software? No. So the first thing would be your login functionality. Yes or no? You can disagree.
Yes.
Yes. Login functionality is the first thing. You have to create, you have to allow users to log in into your application. Correct? Login functionality is your first. Then what is the next? What do you do when you go to Swiggy or Zomato? What is the next functionality? You will ask people to
Master
Choose location.
data.
Location.
Select
Information.
I mean, master data actually.
Ask them their details, basic details.
we have to have the list of all that.
So you will allow first to login functionality. Login functionality again has a lot of sub
Sir,
functionalities.
validation.
That is
Validation.
fine. That is fine. I get it. But the other thing, other capability of this application should be it should allow you to go to different restaurants and see what they have to offer. Then other capabilities you can browse based on a dish. What are the different options that you have? Then you should be allowed to add that to a cart. Then you should be allowed to pay for it. Then you should be allowed to check the status of your delivery. These are some of the basic functionalities or features that you would expect from a food delivery app. Yes? Maybe AI integration based on your past experience. AI recommends what would you like to add. Okay, this is not basic. This is a little advanced feature. But basic features, food browsing options, restaurant browsing options, all these, your ability to pay for your food, your ability to track the status of your food, all these are features of this particular application or software. Okay. So all those features so we are not going to deliver all the features at once. We are saying login functionality. In login functionality, first of all, we will allow the user to enter an email and password to log in, or you may allow phone login also. So those are two options. Then you
We
will
have the delivery partner login also. It will be also.
partner login. Then
So
you can
multiple different.
yes, you can allow the reset password is another thing you can. So basically you have to divide the feature into sub features or sub functionalities. You have to break the features into small pieces. And out of, so let us say login functionality, I break it down into 4 pieces. And out of those 4 pieces, I am going to deliver 2 pieces in the first 10 days. So I will work in cycles. So this cycle in waterfall model, you will deliver the software after 10 months. In Agile, especially Scrum, you are delivering it, let us say, in 10 days. So in 10 days, in a development cycle of 10 days, please remember this word, development cycle. Development cycle means refining the requirement, developing it, testing it, and presenting it. All those things. We'll get into the detail of these things. But development cycle means not only coding, it also means testing also and fixing any bugs also. So building it, testing it, fixing bugs, all that. So within 10 days, you will deliver within 10 days. One second. पंडित जी मैं बाहर हूं, मैं करता हूं आपको यार, कुछ अर्जेंट तो नहीं है? करता हूं। Okay. So first is that you are going to break, you are not going to deliver features all at once. You are going to break. You will deliver feature by feature. This is incremental approach. If you have to build a house, you are building one room first, then the second room, then the third room. So incrementally, you are pushing feature by feature, you are building feature by feature. Login feature. Now, this is incremental. You understood what is incremental? Agile is an incremental and iterative approach. Incremental means one feature, then another feature, then another feature, then another feature. You are not delivering all the things at once. Like in waterfall, you will ask the customer, okay, what do you want? He will give you 20 features. Okay, after 1 year, we will build all those 20 features and we will give it to you. In Agile, we say, specifically Scrum, we say, we are not going to deliver you 20 features. We will pick the most important features first. We will deliver you that. Then the next most important. Then the next most important. Why? Why this? Because this happened early 2000s. Microsoft did a survey and they found out that 93% of the users only use 8 or 9% of the features in Excel. More than 90% of the features were used only by 3 or 4% of the population. So you got this. Majority of the people, you can check for yourself how many features in Excel you would have used. VLOOKUP or filter or just the basic things. So Microsoft said, boss, if most of my consumer are just using 7% of the features, I should put my resources, time and money on those features rather than putting my time and resources on some feature which only nerds will use. Does it make sense? And this is a problem which is faced by most of the software teams. They would work on things that are not even required by the client. In your real life, in your projects or products, you would have seen that sometimes you would have wasted time which is not even required by the customers. And at the end, things which are so critical, those may not have been delivered. Which is why Agile says, boss, you first identify which are the most important features. Then you deliver them. Then the next most important, then the next most, based on what is the value you are getting out of those features. What is the effort? So there are different methods via which this prioritization is done. And this is done by the product owner. Product owner decides which features to build first. And as a Scrum Master, you should know these things. That who is a product owner? What does he do? Product owner is the one who decides which features are to be built and what will be the priority of each feature. Okay, I'm going in basics now and then we'll get into more professional.
Sir, but what about stakeholder? I mean, actual user. I mean,
no, stakeholders. And so actual user is a part of this group called stakeholder. So final customers, stakeholders is a very broad term. And final users is a part of that group. Okay. So final users can suggest we want this. Stakeholders means CIOs, CTOs, legal team, security team, sales team, marketing team, competitors, all sorts of people are your stakeholders. We'll get to that. Who are your stakeholders? But everybody can suggest, okay, you build this, you build this, you build that. But the final authority of choosing what is to be built and what is the priority lies with the product owner. He's the captain. I can tell Shubman Gill play Kuldeep Yadav, but at the end he decides whether to play or not. It's his call, his team. And in teams where product owner is not respected, CEO says you build this. Tomorrow some other director says you build this. Some other lead says, no, I don't want to build this. I will build something else. Those teams struggle. That's a very bad practice, and those teams are not very productive. So suggestions anybody and everybody can do, but the final call should be made by the product owner and based on prioritization methods. And you as a Scrum Master should also know the leading prioritization methods in the market today. We will cover Moscow and WSFJ in detail because you are expected to know those two. Don't worry, I'll cover those two. I'll cover 3 more, but those two in little bit details. So in your CV, you should always mention prioritization method, bracket Moscow, comma WSFJ. A Scrum Master CV that does not have prioritization method tells me that this guy has never worked in Agile. Your CV should always have prioritization method as one of the key points.
Sir, please pardon. After Moscow, what did you say?
WSFJ, weighted shorted job first. Don't worry, yaar. I will. Puri PPT hai, attention. I'll show you. I'll tell you when you have to take notes. You want to take notes to remember these things, that's fine, but you will have all this. Okay. So now where we are explaining what is Agile. Agile is that you decide which features you are going to build and then decide which features first, incremental. Feature by feature, brick by brick, you are going to build a product. And iteratively. What does iteration means? Iteration means I build a room first, basic room. Then I put, in the first 10 days, I just built a room. Then based on the feedback, I say, okay, I will paint it. Then I will call an interior designer. Then I will put the furniture in. So I am enhancing its quality brick by brick. So that is your iterative approach. So you build a login functionality today. You design a login page, how the user will land and everything, and show it to the customer. Customer says, no, 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 I don't like the color combination. I don't like this. Okay, we will fix it. After another 10 days, you go again. Oh, does it look good? Then he says, yeah, this is fine. But can you add some analytics in it? Yeah, we can add it. Another 10 days later, we say, okay, is this fine? He says, yeah. Can you add this? Yeah, we can add this. Okay, after 40 days, this looks beautiful. Because at first time right is very difficult, especially with creative fields like building something. You are not going to get it right first time. So Agile says, you create something, show it to the customer, take the feedback, based on the feedback, improve your product, show it again, then show it again. So this is iteration. So you are going to, so you will never get first time right. So in 2, 3 or 4 iterations, you will get the feature right based on the customer feedback and his satisfaction. So that is why Agile is customer driven or customer satisfaction oriented approach. Is this clear? अबे ये सब इसलिए बता रहा हूं, इंटरव्यू में बोलना है, समझना नहीं है. If you understand it, beautiful. But all of what I am saying, you have to utter those words in your bloody interview. Okay? Sorry, I am too practical a guy. I am not loyal to Agile. Something else comes, I am going to do that tomorrow. I just have to pay my bills. Okay, so this is how I think. You can think differently. So, anyways, so Agile is incremental and iterative. Incremental means feature by feature we are going to build, but each feature we are going to improve after every 10 days or 20 days, whatever is our development cycle. This is essentially what Agile approach is all about. Is this clear? If somebody asks you, what is Agile? Don't say it is a mindset. Yes, it is a mindset, but explain. It is an iterative and incremental approach. And what do you mean by that? This is what you mean by that. Clear? That you are building based on priority and you are delivering feature by feature and improving each feature in each iteration or what you call sprint. We'll come to what is sprint. Okay. So is this clear? Can I move ahead? What the hell is agile? Okay, so agile is a journal methodology. Okay, so like I have to diet. I have to do dieting. So dieting is a broader philosophy. But if I choose keto or whatever they call it here, what they call it on social media and all, keto diet, right? There is keto
Yes.
diet, there is all sorts of. So keto diet is a specific form of dieting. Similarly, vegan is a specific form of dieting only. Similarly, intermittent fasting is another form of dieting. So these are specific dieting plans. So agile is a broader philosophy. Then there are specific methods like Scrum, like Kanban, like XP, like other. Let's not get into just 3 is enough for now. So these are specific. So agile is a broader philosophy, but methods, Scrum is a method, Kanban is a method, XP is a method. Okay. This is good. Okay. So now we all know what is a product backlog, correct? What is a product backlog?
Prioritizing the requirements of the
All
user
the
and
Just
items with
based on
respect
the
to the product.
priority.
List of all the requirements
List of all the
that
requirements.
should be met to fulfill the
List of
product.
all
right.
the things that we have to do to build a product.
Basic product.
List of all the requirements.
Very good. But it is just not an ordinary list. It is a
Prioritized list.
prioritized list. That is the, see one word, how one word changes the entire meaning. It is just not a list of things that we have to do to build a product. It is a prioritized list. Things which bring more value, things which are more important are ranked higher than things which are not, do not bring value to the product. So it's a prioritized list, and it is, the priority is set by the product owner, and that prioritization is done based on some sort of method. There are primarily 5 methods, out of which Moscow and WSFJ. So what are those and how do you do that? We'll get to that in detail. Okay. Very good. So now, so let us say we have, so let us say we have 10 items to build. Okay. 10 features or 10 items to build. So can we take all 10 items at once? No. We are going to use which approach?
Agile approach.
Iterative
Iterative.
approach.
Iterative and
Incremental.
Incremental and iterative.
so
Incremental.
incremental and iterative. So iterative means you work in iterations. Iterative in practical terminology means you work in iterations. Iterations in Scrum is called sprint. So you work, so every 10 days you go to the customer, every 20 days you go to the customer, every 30 days you go to the customer. That's your iteration. So let us say my development cycle is 10 days. So that 10 days is my iteration, which means in those 10 days, I will build this feature, test this feature, deploy this feature, and show it to the customer. Build, test, deploy. Build, test, deploy. Build, test, deploy. Please remember those words. Build, test, deploy. We'll get into the details what are. Build, test, deploy. We will build, test, deploy every 10 days. If my iteration is 10 days. Is this clear? The basic concept. Okay. So iteration we call sprint. Okay. Now let us go to another. We'll come back to this concept. Now let us go to another concept. So PO, we all know what is a PO. So now the question is, what is a bloody Scrum team? Can anybody tell me what is a Scrum team? Now, so PO says, okay, these are the 5 features we have to build. Out of those 5 features, login functionality is the feature that you are going to build now in your first iteration. Okay, people are adding so where was I? So we have to build this. So we have to build this product. In this product, there are 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 features. Out of those 10 features, we decide the first 2 features or first one feature. We break down the feature into few sub functionalities, and we decide out of those things we are going to do some 2, 3, 4 things in the first sprint or the first iteration. Okay, but who will do this? Product owner will decide what will do, but who will do it?
Developers.
Developers.
What is it called?
The Scrum team.
Scrum team.
Scrum team.
So what is a Scrum team? Practical.
Consist.
Don't give me
Everyone
theory.
who is
Practical.
involved in the project.
Huh?
Everyone who is involved in building the project.
Building the product.
Everyone who
Technical team who are
Everyone who is involved in developing the project.
multifunctional.
Cross-functional. Cross-functional.
This is what I'm looking at. If you don't use the word cross-functional, it is not an agile team. There is a team which has 5 Java developers. That's it. They are building APIs. APIs, by the way, is what is APIs? Any application programming interface. If one application or one software has to talk to another software, it needs an API to talk to each other. So let us say there are 5 Java developers, they are building an API. Is that a Scrum team?
No.
No. In real life, you may be given such a team and you have to live with it because you have to pay bills. But utopian Scrum or the ideal Scrum, this is not a Scrum team. A Scrum team is a cross-functional team, which means that it has everything in order to build your product, which means it has a UX designer, UI folks, Java folks, DB folks, .NET folks, whatever technology. So there is something called tech stack. So now we have to build this product. There will be an interface which is called your UI. Yes or no? अरे UI तो चाहिए. By the way, UI अब नहीं चाहिए होगी आगे. How that will happen, that also I'll explain next time, not today. So let us say there will be a UI. So that's you have to use a screen to navigate and all. There is a UI. Then there is a backend where you are going to store all the information. That's your DB layer. Then in between, it could be anything, Java, .NET, whatever, some middle layer. Some teams will have 2 layers, some teams will have 3 layers, some applications will be n tier. So it depends on what sort of. So you can use Java to build this. You can use Node.js, you can use .NET, you can use Python, you can use any Angular, you can use bloody any, whatever, your architect. So who decides what UI, what programming language, which sort of database you are going to be using? It is the architect that decides. So you went to a company, you have a product owner. Product owner says, I will decide what the team will build. I know the features. What is the product? I have an experience of 20, 15, 18, 20 years in the food domain, and I will tell you. Okay, boss, you will tell us. But who will do this work? You need a cross-functional team. Why? Because you need a UI developer, you need a UX developer, you need a Java, you need a Python. Who decides your tech stack? What is the UI technology? What is the middle layer technology? What is the database? How the deployments will happen? What CI/CD product you will buy? What sort of server configuration will be there? All those sorts of things is decided by your product architect. It could be one person, it could be 2 or 3, but typically there is one product architect. Of course, he has a architect's team, he can consult and all that, but typically you will have a product architect who decides your tech stack. And then you will have to decide what will be your team configuration. How many UI developers you need, Java developers, Python developers, how many testers you need, isn't it? You need testers, you need developers, you need UX designers, all sorts of people you need. So this is called team configuration. 100% in your interview, you will be asked as your first or second question, what is your team configuration? You have been a Scrum Master from last 3, 4, 5, 6 years. What is your team configuration? पता ही नहीं है, मुझे नहीं पता. There are 5 developers. There are 6 developers. Okay. So some people will say 20 developers and 1 tester. They have never worked. Some people will say 10 testers, 2 developers. They have not worked. So you need to get your configuration right, which is realistic, which is believable. That is the first thing they will catch you if you do not know the right configuration. Okay. So configuration of your team. So this is another homework I'm giving you. You need to, whatever based on your experience, you have to tell me what is the configuration that you can say. If you tell me that configuration, beautiful. If you don't, you that also. Joey, I don't know the configuration. Fine, then I will tell you. Offer letter चाहिए, खुद पता है तो बहुत अच्छा है, नहीं तो I'm there. Clear? So whatever you know is beautiful. If you don't know, Joey, I don't know, then it is my job to help you and tell you what is your configuration. But ideally, you should tell me because that will be more organic. If it is less, if it is not organic, then it is little difficult to make it believable, but it can be believable. Okay, I'll come to your question. So configuration and tech stack. Tech stack means UI, whether you have UI developers, Java developers, Python developers, DB side, what is the database you are using, what are the tools that you are using, all that sort of information. So you should know your tech stack, you should know your team configuration. A sample or a model tech stack and a team configuration I will send you. So that is not a problem. And then we can discuss what sort of you are going to. If people who have already working, you would already know. So that is that. So let us say in this team, I decide 3 UI developers, 2 Java, 3 backend. So 3, 2, 5, 3, 8. So 3 UI, 2 Java, 3 backend, 8 developers, 4 QAs or 3 QAs, 11, 1 SM and 1 product owner. So let us say this is a 13-member team which is working on this food delivery.
Sir, sorry, sir. Actually, who is, decided to that actually team? Product architecture, as you said, right?
I didn't get the question here.
Who
Who will decide this team
decided the team?
configuration?
Yeah, integration, yes.
Based on architect says, boss, okay, we are building this application, this will be my architecture based. So UI will be Angular, Node, we will use Java. So then based on whatever is the requirement, whatever budget you have, whatever resourcing team tells you, so based on the PO says, okay, similar, that research you would have done, architect would have done similar research. This sort of application with 100 concurrent users will have this sort of server. We need these many developers. So base PO, SM, architect, other stakeholders, see all your management, all those people give those inputs and it is a common decision. Then they will give you this sort of configuration. So no one person decides that, okay, we are going to have this. Sometimes CTO can or some director can, but typically it is a decision which is made by a number of people.
Yes.
Similarly, the tech stack is also primarily decided by the architect, but other people can also give their inputs. Architect team is there and there are other people also. Tech leads you get a couple of tech leads and they decide, okay, this is what I think we have to do. So based on these many features, I will get 2 more Java people or 3 QAs or something like that. I think Abhilasha ma'am had a question. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not much clear with tech stack.
Tech stack is you are going to build a product, correct?
Yes.
That can be built in C, C++, Java, Python. What is the technology that you are going to use to build this product?
Okay.
You got it?
Yes, yes.
what will be the database flavor, what will be the encryption protocols, all those sorts of decisions. That is your tech stack.
Okay.
Yes, Deepak sir.
Yes, sorry, I'm asking something related to Scrum team only. Like actually, I'm working in Scrum actually. We are following Agile, but sometimes I was asked to work as a guest star for some other team. So that time also I'll be a part of the Scrum team.
That I will explain. So then there is a concept of full-time dedicated resources. Sometimes, let us say, you have very little requirement for Python. Just one module here and there we are going to use. So you don't need a full-time Python developer. You need just for 2 days or just for 2-3 hours every day. So then those people are called, or those resources are called shared resources. Agile does not recommend that, but in real life, you have to make those compromises. Because with shared resources, so shared resources are, so QA is there, QA is testing your product also for 4 hours, he's testing some other product for 4 hours. Here he will tell he's busy, there he will tell busy he is here. So that is why Agile does not recommend that. But it's a compromise which in real life lot of teams make, but not recommended. So those are shared resources which are shared between one team, 2 teams, 3 teams, so on. It's a compromise which people make, but not recommended by Agile or Scrum practices. Okay. So come back to, we are a Scrum team. What is a Scrum team? Scrum team is a cross-functional team. Cross-functional means every sort of functionality is covered, which means we have developers also, UX designer also, architect. We don't have a dependency on anybody else to build what we are trying to build. That is a cross-functional team. So if you are only a database team or only a UI team, you are typically not a pure Scrum team. That is a compromise which people do. And why? There is a reason for it. So okay, so now I'll explain you the reason also. Now we have a Scrum team. Is this clear? There is a Scrum team. There are some developers, there are some testers, there is an architect, there is a PO. There is somebody called BA also. So typically in waterfall, there used to be somebody called business analyst who would find requirements, who would gather requirements, refine it, and so on. And that legacy has still continued. These people have not changed the designation. So ideally, in a Scrum team, there should be nobody called BA. It should be product owner only. But there are, in real life, how it works is somebody is 2 years, 3 years experienced. Product owner is somebody who is with 10 years, 8 years, 12 years experience. Now somebody is there who is just starting out career in product world, 2 years, 3 years experience. They will call him a BA. Then they will promote him to assistant PO, then PO, then all sorts of crazy. So BA is basically a legacy from the older waterfall model. Ideally, there should be, if somebody is a junior, they should be called assistant PO, but fine, they call it BA. So BA is nothing but a PO in Agile, but they call it BA. So, but typically practical is BA is somebody with 2-3 years experience. That's what they call BA. Typically PO would have 8 to 10 years of experience. But ideally, so there is one PO, but larger teams, they give you one additional BA also. Because if that PO is not there, then somebody has to help out. So this is the, okay, now we are a cross-functional team. If it is not a cross-functional team, it is not an ideal Agile or a Scrum team. Why? It is very important to understand why. We'll come to it. So now we know that we have a Scrum team. There is somebody called a PO. There are developers, testers, and then there is a Scrum Master. Well, what the hell Scrum Master does? That will come to. So how do we know a team is doing well or not? Why do we have what is the expectation from your Scrum team?
Customer satisfaction.
product.
No, so you are working in iterations. So let us say our iteration, which we are calling sprint, is a 10-day event. So day 1 to day 10. What happens during day 1 to day 10? We'll see. So you are a Scrum Master. First understanding is you need to know what happens between day 1 to day 10. How you will run a team. Okay. So you have a 10-day sprint, for example. But what is the expectation from your Scrum team? The expectation from your Scrum team is to deliver value. No, this is theory. But what does value mean? Money. What does money mean? Value mean. You can only charge the client money for completed software or completed feature. Anything which is not working, login page is there, but you can't get in. It is just a page. You can get in, but you can't click on anything. Nobody is going to. So people pay you money only and only if something is deployable to their production system or it is a completed feature. Anything which is half-baked is valueless. Which is why Scrum team is a cross-functional team which delivers value. Value means they deliver working software. At the end of every sprint or every iteration, you should have a completed working item or a working software. If your team is not producing working software, then they are not a good team. The objective of a Scrum team is to deliver working software. So Scrum team is a cross-functional team that builds a product to deliver value or to deliver working software sprint after sprint. Is this clear? If they are not delivering, lot of times they will ask you, are you a good Scrum Master? How do you assess yourself? Very simple. If your team is producing working software, let us say you have 10 work items to complete and you are completing more than 60-70%. Oh, by the way, one other practical tip. Never say you are completing 100% of your work. That is how fake candidates are caught out. You will never be able to complete all the work that you have picked up. Is that completely understood? 100% you will never, this is real life here. Anything above 70% is very decent, 80% is super good, but typically it will hover between 50 to 70%. Anything less than 30%, if you are not, 30% is your completion rate of work, for 2, 3, 4 sprints, start searching for a job like you are doing now. You are in trouble. So that also we'll get into more details. But the point I'm trying to make here is that a Scrum team is a team which is a cross-functional team and which delivers value, which means working software. Which means, in some of you have worked, which means completed user stories. What are those? We'll come to that. If the Scrum team is not completing their stories or requirements, then there is a problem. So now, is this clear? Are you in agreement? Yes or no? You can disagree, say you are not right, and I have a different opinion, and that is also accepted.
Yeah.
Yes, in reality, the same thing happens. We can
Sorry?
achieve only 60 to 70% in reality.
60-70% is a very good team.
Yeah,
One of
it's
the
really
things,
hard if we focus continuously on that.
correct. No, a lot of time. How are you doing as a Scrum Master? Very good. Do you complete your team delivers everything? Yes, 100%. Please, don't say that. You'll be caught.
But in
100% delivery is not possible.
they have something called off sprint. In that they don't complete the work. They just, I mean, between the sprints that comes.
So from organization to organization, there are certain nuances. There are certain practices which are only peculiar to those organizations. Okay. So off sprint, it would not be there in most of the organizations. Maybe your organization is using it. So I am going to concentrate on practices which are very, very good practices, and then probably we can discuss few of some of these novel practices which teams are doing. Anyways. So now, is this clear to all of you that what the hell is the product backlog and what is a Scrum team? What is a Scrum team and what is their objective? Their objective is to deliver working software. Yeah, Payali ma'am has raised.
Yeah, so how do you derive this number 60 to 70%?
We'll get into metrics and we'll find it. Okay, so now let us say I have 20 tickets in my product backlog. I'll show you the backlog also today. Okay. So let us say I have 20 tickets in my backlog, out of which my team decides, okay, based on their experience, because see, you are starting out in first sprint. This is first sprint, correct? You are just starting out. They don't know. You don't have data. How much they can do, what is their capacity, what is their capability, you don't know. So based on the judgment and gut feel of the architect and your developers, you will say, okay, we are going to start with 3, 4, 5 work items, whatever. So let us say they decide there are 20 work items in your backlog, out of which they decided that they will work on 5 work items. See, we haven't got into what is a bug, what is a story, that will deal. What we now have, 20 tickets are there in Jira. Out of those 20 tickets, they say we are going to work on these 5 tickets. Whatever you decide to do in your iteration or sprint, that is called your sprint backlog. So what is a product backlog? If you can't answer, you're dead. What is a sprint backlog? Another important artifact. Artifact is nothing but a fancy name of important documents or important things. So there are 3 artifacts in Scrum. One is the product backlog, which is the total number of tickets or things we have to do to build a product. Then whatever out of that product backlog, whatever your team decides to do. So out of those 20 tickets, let us say our team decides to do 5 tickets. Those 5 tickets, whatever they decide to do in one particular sprint, is your sprint backlog. The items that you have chosen to complete in one sprint is called your sprint backlog, and the Scrum team chooses these work items. Is this clear? What is a sprint backlog? Who chooses it?
The developers, the Scrum team.
Scrum.
Scrum team.
I am the PO. I am telling you, Mohammed will do this, Kiran will do this, Venkatesh will do this. Is this agile?
No.
No.
I am experienced, I know, or I am the lead. I have 18 years of experience. I know who will do what. What is wrong with it?
Even though there is a method and this one will
What
be
is
the
method? I am
process and
experienced.
method.
What process? I am experienced. I know what my team will do. I am the lead. I will decide.
The Scrum team chooses it with the capacity, like how much they can do, not like somebody
Hell
is.
with it. I have enough experience. They are my reportees. I will decide.
Self-organizing, they should. Self-organizing.
So why does so these are all questions which they will ask you. Who in your team, who gives you the work? You will say my developer decides it, or CTO pings people and they decide it. PO is the one who decides it. That is actual agile. So that is the real understanding of agile. So people can give suggestions, but ultimately PO decides what are the requirements. We will a bunch of requirements which is prioritized. So he gives, okay, these are the 10 items or 8 items out of which you can pick. But those 8 items are decided by the product owner. Which item who will do, that is up to the developers. Why? Because it allows them a sense of ownership. That is what you are going to give them. Okay, I say, boss, You decide what are you going to do. Kiran says, okay, yeah, I have worked with this kind of a functionality before. Email and we have to use email and password and create that login screen, and I have worked something like this. I'm going to do this. Somebody else says, okay, this is a multi-factor authentication login story. Now we have to use multi-factor authentication. It is little difficult. I'm a senior guy. I have worked on this, something like this before. Somebody is a fresher. He says, no, I want to learn. I have done something like this in my college, but I'll do it. So if you allow people to, it's like kids. If you tell, no, you have to study for 4 hours. As against this, you tell them, boss, if you study mathematics, this is what you are going to get. If you study physics, this is what you are going to get. If they study on their own, the attitude, the mindset is completely different, as against when you are forcing them to study. Same, if you are forcing people to pick up items, then they will not have a sense of ownership. If you say, okay, you decide what are the things that you will pick up, and based on that, we will decide, okay, these are the things we can complete. So that gives you sense of ownership. Let us say Deepak sir says he's a QA. He says, yeah, I can test these 3-4 requirements. I'm comfortable with it. Now he is on his own saying he can complete these 3 or 4 items. Then on the 8th day, he cannot say, oh, I don't know who gave me all this. I have no clue. I cannot do this. But if you push things, then people are more repulsive. They don't respond well. So Agile says people are self-motivated. Great teams are built on self-motivated individuals. That is one of the key practices in Agile. Great teams are built on self-motivation. So you are assuming people want to work. Of course, there are people who don't want to work. Those are your behavioral issues, and you will find out. So in this case, you will say, okay, you are allowing people to pick up work. They will pick up easy work. You can say this, right? You are allowing, let us say Kiran has an experience of 18 years and he picks up very easy requirement. He can do that, right? Exactly why, if he picks up easy requirements, Agile wins, Scrum wins. Because here is a senior guy who does not want to do things based on his experience. He wants to run away from work. You are successful. Then, of course, you talk to him one-on-one. Boss, you are the most experienced person. You are supposed to take the most complex requirements. If he does not want to do it, there you go. You have a problem. So you have identified already. If he he does not want to work. Whatever he is going to pick up, there will be a problem in delivery. So Agile already gives you opportunity to identify these people and talk to them to change their behavior. You don't go to Kiran, hey Kiran, you have 18 years of experience, you are paid 25 lakhs, you idiot, why don't you do these things? Obviously you ask him. The expectation from a senior developer is to have complex requirements done. Is there a specific reason why you picked up a easy story, or is there any challenge, whatever? And then let him speak up whatever his mind is, and then you try to understand what his point of view is, and then make him understand what the organization's expectation is, and then see how it goes. So how to deal with these behavioral issues, we'll get into it, but I just wanted to give you an idea of how the Agile process works. You are allowing people to work so that if there are any flaws in their thinking or any behavioral patterns, those come out in open so that you can help them to fix it. You are not going to do policing. You are not a policeman. If there is a problem with anything, you are going to try to help them achieve their best versions, or you are going to try to improve them. That is your job as a Scrum Master, which is against the traditional role of a project manager. Project manager says, I know everything. I will fix you all. Don't worry. I am the police. So this is not how Agile works. Agile works, you have to work with the developers, testers, identify their issues, and then try to help them as much as you can through the help of Agile principles, Scrum principles, good practices, tools, techniques, and all this information that you are going to get in the next couple of months. Is this good? Any questions, concerns? All of you are quiet. Either you are bored or you are thinking this is fine. One of those two. Okay, so yeah,
Sir,
please.
sir, but actual sprint planning or daily stand up, no. Actually, we actually as a team now we're discussing specific items, okay, or a specific story, and we asking for them actually. Okay, you are able to take this, or you are able to take this, like that. Is it right way or?
Yes, that is the right way. Would you like to take, if people are not forthcoming, then you are asking, are you going to do this? Are you going to do, that's fine. You are not forcing anybody, correct?
Yeah. Okay.
As long as people are not forcing, you are having a discussion, that's fine. Do you think you will be able to do this? Do you think you will be able to do this? Somebody says something, and that's fine. Discussion is fine. If there is no force, violence, then it is fine. There's no problem. It's good. Okay. I don't know what sprint planning is. I don't know what we'll get to that. Okay. So now I'm going to show you the presentation which I'm going to share with you guys in your emails. Where is that gone here? And then from tomorrow, we will get into the question and answers. Some of those question and answers you are already seen. We'll get into the events, how those events happen. But I'll come back to the the question which I asked, which is the important event, okay, or which is the most important thing to do. Where is the, this is the, okay, this is the presentation which I shared with you yesterday. So if you look at this, so we go to here, we go here. So what is Agile? Agile is iterative and incremental approach. Collaboration, adaptability, and continuous improvement. What is continuous improvement? What is collaboration? What is adaptability? That also we have to understand. Agile breaks into small manageable pieces, those sprints, and deliver working software. We have an Agile manifesto, nothing but 4 values and 12 principles. These 12 principles will be asked in your interview, and you will be asked to give the examples of these principles from your real-time experience. So how you will cover that? See, these are all Agile values. These are the, so for example, individuals and interactions, it means quick team meetings rather than waiting for Jira updates, rather than waiting for what is, some bug is there, critical bug is there, rather than you wait on a Jira update, QA will update, developer will update, or get onto a call and quickly sort it out. That is what this means. That is the example you will give when this value is discussed. We'll get into that. So these are all practical explanations, and these are all examples of face-to-face conversation. It means API issue is there, have a quick video call or a quick audio call. So I'll share it with you and then we'll discuss. So if I use Scrum, that also. So artifacts we discussed, product backlog, sprint backlog. I have only discussed what is Agile, and then what I have discussed is these 3 artifacts. So sprint backlog, do we know what is a sprint backlog now? What is a sprint backlog?
Selected
The
product
items
backlog
which you have
The
items.
picked
product
from
items
the
which is
product
to be
log,
worked on this sprint, current sprint.
Selected items from the product backlog.
which we are able to
Having
work
high
within
value.
the
Developer
sprint time or
chooses
iteration time.
to be working on a sprint.
List
Okay.
of items we are going to develop in the current sprint.
So items that we have selected, which we have to do in the current sprint. Items that we are going to select to do in current sprint is the sprint backlog. Product backlog, you already know. So let us say in our product backlog, there are 20 items, and out of those 20 items, PO says these are the 8 most important items. Out of those 8 most important items, we pick up 5 items. Those 5 items is our sprint backlog. Out of those 5 items, let us say we are only able to complete 3. Rest of the 2 items are not completed. Only 3 items we are able to complete. Those 3 items are called increment. That is another important artifact in Agile. So as a Scrum Master, You should know three things. Where is my product backlog? What is my sprint backlog? And what is my increment? Your increment will decide your increment. Always remember. Your increment will decide your increment. So product backlog is the total number of work items that the product owner has, whatever tickets there are in Jina. Out of that, whatever you select to do in a current sprint is your sprint backlog. Whatever you have selected in your sprint backlog, let us say there are 100 items or 50 items. Out of those 50 items, I complete 30. That 30 is my increment. Whatever bugs, stories, requirements, tasks, subtasks, whatever you have completed is your increment. And the more the increment is, the better it is. Is this clear to all of us? Management will come after you. You should know your sprint backlog, what is your product backlog, and what is your increment. How will you find your increment? That also we will see everything in Jira. We will do this when we get to the actuals of this. And now just I'm giving you an overview and idea. Okay. So till now, is this clear? What is a product backlog? Who is a PO? What is a Scrum team? And what is an increment? Okay, very good. So these are very basic things.
Sir, one question. In between, suppose some iteration comes, okay. I mean, sprint planning is done, okay.
I don't
Selected.
know what is sprint planning here. So we have to get into that. What is a sprint planning?
Okay, no. I have a question that incremental. Okay, so
no, but you have to explain me what is sprint planning. I don't know. You have to tell me what is a sprint planning first, because some of us don't know what is sprint planning. No, you can give an example. Don't worry.
Sprint planning in the sense actually, I mean, as you said, actually, whatever backlog is there, I'm out of that actually, suppose 10 backlog is there, and out of that I choose 3 stories. That is called actually, and I will work on that 3 stories. So that is sprint.
So basically, this is a meeting where the team decides what are the things that they will pick up for the particular sprint.
Yeah. But correct? My question is what actually when we sprint, I mean planning is done, okay, we work on that, and in between actually something is happening, I mean production issue, and that is added in that sprint, so that is called also incremental or what? I'm asking actually.
Yes, I will explain.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a very good question, and that is answered in this. So if I go back to agile definition, so first of it uses 3 words: collaboration, adaptability, and continuous improvement. Collaboration is, see, earlier, this is very important for you to understand. Earlier, what used to happen was development team was a different team. QA team was a different team. Business requirement people were a different team. So what happened? There is an issue. There is an issue in your UI. There is some problem in this UI screen in login. QA raises a bug. Developers has no clue who has raised it. He is confused what is there. He does something. Then they email. So these are 3 different teams. And there is lack of communication and coordination. God knows what is happening. And this was a typical waterfall issues. That is why we have pulled developers, testers, business requirement people into one room. These are the 3 idiots and you are the virus. That is your main role as a agile practitioner or a scrum master. You have to put these 3 people together, because I have to build a login page. Developer thinks he should have 2 buttons, a green background, whatever. QA thinks, no, I need to have 4 buttons. It should have this background. It should refresh it in this manner. PO has a very different requirement. He is in his mind thinking something else. What will happen? At the end, the product you will get will be a confused product, a bad product. If all these 3 people have the same expectation, so let us say you have to build a sales report. It needs to have analytics in it. It needs to have 5 columns. Each column should have this width. It should have populating this value. And it based on this value, it should create a bar chart at the side on the top left-hand side. QA thinks same, PO thinks same, developer thinks same. If they are exactly same in their thinking, then you will build a product which is a very good product. And that is what Agile says, that boss, if all these 3 people have a similar understanding of the requirement, only then you will build a product which is acceptable in the market or which will derive customer value. So collaboration is the first objective of your Agile team, that they have to collaborate. Collaboration means what? QA, PO, Dev, all of them have to have the same understanding of the requirement. If you do not understand this, then you are not an Agile practitioner. That is why Scrum Masters came into the picture, because these were different teams. Now you said, no, we don't want different teams. We want developers, testers, designers, everybody to be in one room and thinking the same thing. That is what collaboration is. That is why you need a Scrum Master to apply these sort of practices in a team. Is this clear? And I will give you plenty of examples how in real life this thing works out. Like in this example, UI bug is there. You get on a call with all 3 people, you sit them down. PO says, I need this. QA says, I tested this, but there is this flickering of the screen. I don't want it. Dev says, yeah, I understand that. Okay, issue sorted. One guy emails, some guys understand something else. After 10 days, PO says something else in the meeting, all hodgepodge. Better you sit in one room and sort it out. That is your collaboration. That is what is the meaning of collaboration. Now, other thing.
Sir, one question, sorry.
No, I'll complete this and then we'll come to that. So that is your collaboration. So agility means collaboration. They will ask you, what does it mean by agility? Or what does agile means? How are you an agile team? How are you doing as a Scrum Master? Sir, as a Scrum Master, my first objective is to get into collaboration mode. Collaboration between 3 idiots, PO or 3 amigos, whatever you want to call it. PO, QA, and developer. All of them have to have similar understanding. Apply this into your real lives. Most of your issues would be because these 3 people are not on the same page. They have completely different thinking on their attitude. One guy is thinking, let's go to Goa on a peaceful beach. One guy is saying, go to disco. One guy is saying, go to some ashram. All 3 different requirements. What will you do in Goa? They need to have similar understanding of the requirement. Then the next is adaptability, which comes to this. In the middle of your sprint or middle of 5th day, 6th day, 7th day, some critical requirement comes. Some requirement comes. It is so critical that your business will collapse if you don't do this. Team says, boss, I'm not going to do this. We have a fixed goal. We have to complete those requirements. I'm not going to do this. So let us say it's a compliance, some report you have to build. Let us say it's a healthcare product and you have to build a compliance report. If you don't do this compliance report, if you don't send this compliance reports, they will put a financial penalty on you and the client will take away the product from you. And you say, no. We are said we are going to do this many requirements for these 10 days. So you are not helping the business. If the business loses money, they can't afford you. So Agile says, boss, you work with the customers. If there is something critical, then you adapt. So you say, okay, out of those 5 things, what are the things that are less important? You remove those and you pick up this most important thing. So you adapt. So how do you deal with mid-sprint changes, requirements which keep changing? There is a specific plan of action, step by step. I'll get into that. So you establish the criticality, you look at the bandwidth, you look at the prioritization, all of that. There's a step-by-step process of it. So That is called your adaptability, how adaptable your team is. If the team is not adaptable, they do not listen to the business requirements, then in the longer run, they will not be able to keep these clients or keep the business happy. So you have to be adaptable. But at the same time, the product vision should not switch. Every day you cannot adapt. So you have to establish, you can only take up critical or high priority items. But those criticalities have to be established by the product owner, the product management, all those teams. We'll get to that step by step how to do that. But the point here is agile is adaptability. If team is not adaptable, then that's not an agile team. The last is continuous improvement. This we'll talk tomorrow. How are they continuous improvement? But what's the last thing? So tell me, which is the most important event in Scrum?
Sprint planning.
Sprint review, sprint retrospect.
Sprint retrospective.
Sprint planning.
Sprint planning is an important event.
All the events.
Okay, if you don't know these events in detail, that's fine. We'll get into this from tomorrow. But planning. So how many events are there, by the way?
Planning,
Sprint planning,
review.
retrospective, daily scrum,
Review and daily scrum.
and
How many?
review.
Daily stand up.
How many?
Or
4, 5?
five,
Five.
I guess.
5 events.
Sprint itself is an event, right? Sprint, daily stand-up,
Sprint planning.
retrospective, blah, 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 5, correct?
Yes.
So officially, there are 5 events in Scrum, correct? Is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes.
As per the Scrum book or Scrum guide, or officially there are
5 events.
5.
but in reality, there is one unofficial event also in Scrum, which is called
Backlog refinement.
beautiful. If that 6th event is not there, then all your 5 events are useless. This is the practical tip I can give you. How? We will understand it in the next 2, 3, 4 minutes. The most important event in Scrum is, as per the Scrum guide, it is 5 events. But in reality, there are actually 6 events. The 6th event is the backlog refinement or the grooming call. If that is not done, then all your 5 events fail. And most of the bad Scrum implementations or bad Agile implementations or teams that are not performing well are teams that do not do the 6th event properly. So what is a grooming call? That we'll discuss in detail. But the grooming event is event where the product owner describes the requirements to the developers and testers. He says, okay, we have to build email and password. We have to create a login page where we are going to use email and password. Okay. What is the password complexity? Somebody asked, what is the password complexity? Pio says, I haven't thought. Wait, let me check. He says, okay, 8 letter. Somebody else says, but boss, in the other product I was taking care of, that 8 letter was not accepted. There is some security compliance issue. Then he says, no, okay. Then we will do a 14 letter or 13 letter. He will check with the architect. Architect says, yes, as per our policies, there's 13 letter. Okay. Now, if this discussion does not happen and you straight away go to sprint planning, then you go to the daily stand-up and all those things, you start development. On the 3rd day of development, developer says, what is the password length? Or he creates the 5-letter password. QA says, I need a 14-letter password. You are done. Your requirement will be not fulfilled for next 20 days. There will be confusion. And does it not happen in real life? They start development because real work is development and testing only. All this discussion is useless. So they think the most important thing is testing and development. They will immediately start, oh, requirement, oh, let's do coding, let's do testing. But if you do not decide what are you going to build, in Agile, you don't build what you are not clear on. So unless that clarity, so now let us say in that call we decide, boss, this is the password length we are going to take. Now developer is clear, PO is clear, QA is clear, everybody is clear. Stakeholder asks, say, boss, how much is this? You show it to the customer. You ask the customer says, oh, this password length is 8 letters, but I wanted 14. PO says, no, no, no. We had a discussion. Architect, developer, QA, everybody is in agreement. 8 is accepted in our business, everybody else, and blah, blah, blah. There is no confusion. So we'll get into the details tomorrow or day after rather. But the point I am trying to make is it is the grooming call where the requirements are finalized. Those are the most important calls, because if you are clear, if the developer, tester, PO is everybody is clear, what is it that they are going to build, then there will be less blockers, less delivery issues, less customer escalations. So that is why it is the most important call. It is this call or this meeting where you decide whether some requirement is ready for development or not. If something is not ready for development, let us say I have to build a report. The UX screen is not ready. It is going to be built by some other team. And that team, that guy is on leave. So, and I start my requirement. After 3 days, I don't know that person when he's going to deliver. And we have already promised the customer, we are going to show you this report. Will I be able to complete it? No. What will you get? Escalation. Why? Because you had no grooming done. You did not think it through. You did not think of your blockers and dependencies of that particular requirement. So there has to be a meeting where you are deciding, you are discussing what are the potential blockers and dependencies you have of that particular requirement. If that is not done, you will end up having blockers, issues, escalations. So which is why the most important call is the grooming call. If everything is sorted there, you will have a higher delivery rate, less escalations. So we will get into details how these groomings are done. How do you identify the blockers? So we will pick up stories or requirements. We'll talk about what stories are. We'll look at these stories. We'll look at these, what are epics? How are epics broken down into stories? Then how are each story? How do you decide what are we going to build? That is your acceptance criteria. What is that? We'll get into that. So how do you decide when the team says something is done? What is that definition? So all of those things we will get into details in the subsequent sessions. But day after we'll start with the actual events and what are already I've given you some questions, so you can go through those questions also. All of these questions we will discuss in detail. First we'll get into the events. How does the events plan out for this project or product which we have taken? We will take this, how we will refine the requirements, how we will pick up in sprint planning. For example, in sprint planning, how do you decide capacity of a team? How do you look at the availability of a team? How do you build capacity sheet? What is velocity? All those sorts of discussion in real-time basis. Daily stand-up. Then in reviews, what are the good things? What are the bad things? If there are escalations in reviews, how do you handle it? How do you do retrospects? All those things we will get into a lot of details. Okay, now I will stop, and I hope I will end every day by 10:10. I'll try my best. But okay. So any questions, concerns now you can.
We are not able to copy the questions actually.
Okay, no worries. I will send it to some email. Yeah, I have few emails in the chat. One email.
Sir, one question actually. That grooming session, now when actually it will happen? Because we doing.
You are breaking up here.
Sorry, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. So grooming session, right? You have explained grooming
So
session.
on Thursday, this is the first thing I'm going to do. When are we going to do grooming? When sprint planning? On day one, what happens? Day two, what happens? Day three, what happens? I'll open a Jira, create a product backlog, Create a sprint backlog.
Okay.
Create a sprint, then see how it all goes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yes.
Right? Because unless you see these things practically,
Yeah. Confusion actually little bit actually. Yeah.
we'll open a Jira and we'll do each and everything.
Sir, my from Shravan here. So if you're sending some files or PPTs, I did not receive anything yesterday. Maybe.
No, I'm going to send it today. I'll send it now, in fact.
Okay, yesterday you did not send anything, right?
No, I did not. I'm going to send it to a couple of emails, but who do I send it to here? That you guys have to tell me.
Yeah, regarding the questions also, like I'm unable to find any.
Oh, you joined little late, maybe that is why. The questions are there, yeah, in the chat, but I will send on the email also. So Priya, can I send it to you? That is the email I will. And but how will you send it to all others?
I think everyone can put their IDs in the chat.
No, that will be very difficult for you to copy and paste.
Maybe
See,
you guys can get into some WhatsApp or something like that. And then
No, they have something called shared folder. You can send it. They in the initiation they said that whatever the instructor shares, they will upload it in the shared folder. So maybe you can send it to Yasin and he will upload it in the shared folder. It will be visible to everybody.
Okay,
and everybody.
I can do that.
Yeah, thanks.
But I would prefer if somebody through the email method. It will be easier for me if you guys are okay with that. But,
yeah, that's all.
Okay, so I'll send it to Abhilasha and Priyanka. Can you guys send your emails and to everybody? And if you guys don't get it, then I will send you individually.
Okay.
Okay. So does that make sense, or is that okay now? Wait, I'll send it now. Yeah, I'll forget it afterwards. Okay, one sec. Here is the. I'll send it to 2 people and then you guys can send it to rest of the people. Okay. Any other clarifications, questions if you guys don't know?
Yes, sir. I have one question. So we can say the sprint planning meeting and grooming call are the same? Because
don't worry, we'll get into that. Today was what is a Scrum team, what is a PO, what is that? We'll get into the details. Okay, that detail. Okay, wait here. I will show that. So today you will get all this information here also. One sec. One sec. I think I did not. One sec. Step by step we have to get it. Okay, see, we were here, right? So we were here. Now we have gone to this thing, then artifacts, then events we will get into. Then how does a Scrum process works? Then how does a sprint work? Then metrics, this is not the real metrics. I'll get into more details. This is waterfall versus agile. And then this is the real deal. This is what is the time for each event, what are the inputs, outputs, who are the people who attend these calls, then what is the purpose of each event, what are the activities, what is the outcome, and then this is the practical. What are the bad things that the bad teams or anti-Scrum practices, and what are the solutions? These are your blockers and solutions. Then daily stand-up, what are the teams that do not follow proper agile, what do they do and what are the solutions to that? Similarly for sprint review. Then similarly for retrospective, for execution. So each and every event we will do in detail, then do the questions. Don't worry, this is just an introduction. I'll get into the details of each event and then we'll get into other things also. Okay. So don't worry, each and every event will be discussed in detail. Then questions will be asked practically, then you will have to answer them, then I'll correct those questions, all that will.
Sir, this session is recorded? No,
Yeah. All of these
you
are
will get, right? This session? Okay.
Correct. Okay. Okay, I'll just do a quick poll and then I'll send this to a couple of folks. And but if you don't get it, Then on but you guys will send, right? Abhilasha and
Yes,
Priya.
yes. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sir, I have one question. Can we change the duration of a sprint?
It depends. It depends. It could be 10 days, it could be 20 days, 30 days, it could be 1 day.
But every time it
If in
should
the
be
first
10 days,
sprint,
right?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
sir,
You
like
should.
in the first sprint, in the first sprint, if there in the first sprint we take it for 15 days and we see that we cannot complete the work, can the sprint duration be changed every sprint after sprint?
No.
It should be
There should
fixed.
not be frequent changing of. We'll come to that. Yeah. What will all these see, if you look at these questions, it is covered there also. So we'll discuss one by one. Don't worry. So but it's a deeper topic we have to get into the duration of the sprint, why it is important, and a lot of people are obsessed with a 10-day sprint also. That's also a problem. How to decide the correct sprint length, that also we'll get into.
Sir, are you going to share this PPT or?
How in the email here I will send. Okay guys, then if there is no other questions, I will drop, and then I'll send
Thank you,
everything.
sir.
Sir,
Good
one
night.
last
Bye.
question, sir. Just a small question. Sir, what actually it's daily stand-up or a daily scrum? What it should be called and what it is called
Daily
actually?
stand-up. But in real life, they call it daily scrum, DSU, daily status meeting, all sorts of name you have. But the correct name is daily stand-up, DSU.
Actually, I studied the Scrum guide, latest Scrum guide. It is mentioned as daily Scrum actually.
But fine, yeah, nobody. Those are just theoretical questions some kids will ask you in the interview. Some agile coaches are also mad about it. They think they have achieved everything in life. They will ask you all sorts of crazy theoretical questions, but don't worry, we'll cover. Okay, so one sec. I've actually sent it now, so you guys should be able to take these things. There are two more presentations. Oh, by the way, I haven't told. So there are two more presentations. Then there will be 30 scenario-based questions, and then there will be 600 to 700 interview questions from each company. So what happens is you guys will give interviews. Some of you will go to the organizations, and then you will also send me your questions. All that gets added into our question bank. So the previous batches, they have shared their questions. So all those questions are there, what they do ask in Infosys, Capgemini, all these companies. So you will have that everything there. So you can have a question bank, scenario based questions, safe PPT, everything will be covered.
Sir, can I send JD, job description of Scrum Master? I mean, those are in our company actually. So many different. Huh?
Yes. No. Yeah. You want to? I mean, what is that?
Job description actually of Scrum Master.
Yes.
So based on that, also they will ask the question, right? Or job description is same.
The curriculum that I have is based out of 300, 400 job descriptions. So I've scanned 400 job descriptions. Based on that, the curriculum is set based on that. Don't worry, you will be well taken care of. Okay, I will send I've already sent it to Priyanka and Abhilasha. So you guys can send it across here. Okay, the PPT is there, and then I'll send the questions also. Okay, guys, yeah. See you on Thursday. I hope you run through these questions because we are going to discuss all these questions starting Thursday. Thank you, guys.
Tomorrow not there. Okay. Okay. Bye. Good night, sir.
thank you. Bye.
So tomorrow is off, right?
Tomorrow is off.
Thank you, sir.
We will meet Thursday. Send your Priyanka, Vilasha. You guys can check. It's there.
I have not yet received. Yeah, but I'll keep checking and share.
Yes. Okay, I'll send the question. Okay, take care.